says, I learned a lot about what I don't know about YouTube videos. Well, that's awesome. And you're going to learn a lot more today, Daryl, I hope. We got some really cool stuff to get into here. We'll give people another moment to jump in and then we'll get going. I won't hold you guys forever. The goal of this is to build your faceless YouTube, your faceless Facebook, your faceless Instagram, your faceless TikTok. Yeah, we'll definitely get a replay link out. That should already be available, but we will make sure that you get access to that. It should be available in the members area right now, actually. All right. Let's go ahead and dive in, guys. So today we're talking about faceless YouTube videos, faceless TikTok videos, faceless Instagram videos. Short form faceless content is this crazy opportunity to create content that has way more of a chance at going viral than anything that's been out there in quite a while. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to hold off the questions until towards the end. I will leave time for your questions. So if I don't answer you right now, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to go ahead and get through the material here, and then I will take a couple of breaks here to give you guys a chance to ask your questions. So again, if I miss them, not personal, but we have a lot to cover. All right, welcome to this training on viral vids, faceless videos. We're going to uncover some secrets today on how to make content go viral. And the biggest takeaway that I want you to have with today is that I want you to understand that the number one skill set we're trying to leave you with, that you walk away with this from, is that we want you to understand exactly how to create viral content. Why does that matter? Why should you care? Because that is a skill that's worth a lot of money. It doesn't matter who you're selling it to. It doesn't matter if you're monetizing your own channel. It doesn't matter if you're selling this to a business. It doesn't matter if you are building this for advertising. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is creating short form content that can get a lot of views is a really, really valuable skill. And like all skill sets, it requires a very specific strategy to get good at it. And it requires following people who are already doing it successfully. And so today we're going to talk about some things that you can do that we know work. And the biggest misconception that I want to disabuse you of is this concept that viral is almost an accident. That viral is just kind of like chance. Like maybe if I'm lucky, something will become viral. Now, does that mean we can control every single video to the level of making every single video incredibly successful and viral? No, not necessarily. But we sure can give it a much, much better shot. In fact, the people who are real masters of this almost can. They almost can create viral videos at will. But if we follow the right patterns and we follow the right strategies, we can understand exactly what it is they're doing, and we can get good at it pretty quickly. And the amazing thing about viral vids is it's going to help you do a lot of that without you having to do any of the work that other people are investing in order to create this kind of content. So there are 3 ways that are obvious ways that you can make money with this. But I want you to realize this is just 3 ways. There are lots and lots of ways that you can make money with viral content. An enormous number of ways. In fact, we have ways in the future that we're going to show you that are going to blow your mind. But number one, and this is the one that should be completely obvious, is that simply selling video packages to businesses, right? If you sell 20 or 30 short form videos every month to a business, there's no reason you can't charge $1,500, $3,000, $5,000 every single month to an HVAC contractor, to a dentist, to a chiropractor, to a lawyer, to an accountant. They need content. And their social media is starving for content that's actually valuable. And lots of businesses are already investing money in creating content that isn't anywhere near as good as what you could offer them. So that's a very obvious way to make money. Now, when you have a faceless channel that you've been getting traffic and actually generating results on, that is a portfolio. That is proof that you can create viral content. That is something you can pull out of your back pocket and say, look, I create viral content. Look at this video. It had 3,000 views on it. Look at this video had 50,000 views on it, or this video had 1 million views on it. If you think you can't create content that can get 50,000 or even 1 million views on it, you are wrong. You are mistaken. You just haven't done what it takes to create that yet. You just haven't walked down that path yet. But it is something that you could do. And you might feel a bit of skepticism about that, but I'm going to tell you that's not reality. That is your skepticism. The other thing you can do is offer essentially an entire content system where video is only part of the strategy. I mean, video is one piece of the puzzle, but you have to ask, well, how do we make money off of the views? Well, there's lots of ways to make money off of the views, right? If you talk to a business that is promoting things, you could be interspersing promotional content with your more viral content, or making that promotional content more viral, but in its own nature. You can be creating landing pages for them, or even whole websites, or newsletter systems, or all kinds of things you could be doing for them in addition to the video content. And the video content becomes a really, really good way to get views in that system. And the price point for that, $3,000 to $5,000, that's like on the low end of what that might be worth to somebody. And number three is that the channel can become an asset itself, right? You can make a lot of money just on the views from your content or affiliate commissions based on the tools that you employ. Once you have a channel that's gaining subscribers consistently, that's getting lots of views, tens of thousands of views, it's getting thousands of hours of content being watched, those channels are incredibly valuable. And they create passive income for a long time. Now, that's a longer journey, and there's even things beyond this training of things you could do with it to monetize it. But I just want to make sure that you understand that monetizing this content is not the hard part. The hard part is you actually have to make videos. People got to want to watch those videos. So my goal is really to make you, to give you the tools to become your own scientist in analyzing and producing quality content that has a chance to go viral. Right? We're arming you with the tool set. You've got to put the tool set into motion. So your YouTube content, especially, I mean, that's permanent content, right? Now, the content might spike in the beginning, but it could be getting views like a year later or 2 years from now. In a lot of ways, the YouTube channels that you build out, that's like building something that's like a blog. That might have traction for years. You build someone a blog article, someone might read that 2 or 3 years from now, or click on that 2 or 3 years from now. The same thing is true of video. So your channel can become your pitch, right? When a dentist asks you, can you really get them views? Building something that has views on it, you can say, yeah, my channel got 50,000 views last month. That is obvious proof that you can do what you say you can do, right? So that's really the bottom line, is that your channel content is the place for you to build out your own portfolio. And if you build 365 videos over the next 365 days, that's 365 chances to land clients. So that's the lens you should be looking at this through. This is a skill set that could become invaluable for you. And the vanity metrics are just kind of a doorway towards that. They're just a pathway towards that. So let's talk about the algorithm. Let's talk about how do we actually do this. Let's get past, I know a lot of you, your mind is like, how do I make money with this? That's step 3, guys. That's step 3. Don't worry about that right now. If you're not making videos and getting people to watch them, that doesn't even matter, because you can't accomplish step 3, right? Step 3 is potentially the easier part, or it's the other piece of the puzzle that you shouldn't even have in your mind right now. The dot on the wall should be, how do I create content that actually gets the needle moving, right? how do I create content that actually gets views, that actually gets watched? So I want to unlock for you an example. This specifically is the TikTok algorithm, but they all work in a similar way. They all work in a similar way. So I want you to understand what's actually important. So when TikTok specifically, but this is true of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all these other algorithms are very similar. There's only minor differences between them. But when you put up a video, that video goes up second to number one, that algorithm says, all right, let's put this out with a test audience of people that we believe have watched very similar content. And let's see how they react to it. And your goal is to score 50 points. If your video doesn't score 50 points with the test audience, it's not going to get a bigger audience. It's never going to get more reach. In fact, if it's obvious that it's never going to get to 50 points, then it might terminate the test early. Like you may not even get to 300 people. It may not even show it to 300 people if you can't achieve 50 points. So how do those points break down? What does this actually look like? Well, the lowest value engagement is a like. If somebody likes it on TikTok, that's 1 point, guys. You're getting 1 point. So, hey, you show this video to 300 people, you get 50 likes, you're there. You did it, right? 50 likes, that would do it. Now, a comment is
most business owners think payroll taxes are untouchable.
When someone comments, it's
just another cost of doing business.
Is when someone likes your video.
But what if I told you that?
And a share is 3 points, right? Shares are really important because they bring new users in. They bring new people to watch it. They create engagement between people. And shares are literally 3 times as powerful as a like and far more important than a comment, right? 50% more powerful than a comment. But here's what might shock you. And you guys can give me some feedback here, but I think this might be something that surprises you. When we talk about the algorithm, completing the video is worth more points than all of those. It's 4 points. If they watch the entire thing from beginning to end, it's like someone liked it 4 times. It's like 2 comments. It's more important than if somebody shared it. So let me know, is that kind of an aha moment to you? Is anyone shocked by that? Because that surprised me when I first learned it. That really surprised me. I always knew that video completions were important, but they're literally far more important. Far more important. And here's the other thing, and this is the thing that really is shocking. You get an extra point above that if they watch it more than once. If somebody sits through your video 2 times, that's 5 points. If you can get 10 people to watch that video out of the 300, that alone, they don't have to like it, they don't have to share it, they don't have to do anything like that. They just got to watch it twice. If they watch it twice, then you've already essentially aced the test in your first test audience. Now, what's going to happen after the first 300 people get access to see it? After the first 300 people, whether they swipe away or watch it, because not everyone's going to watch it, by the way, out of the 300. Some people are going to swipe away. But of the people that watch it, once we're done with that 300, if you've got the 50 points, it's going to give you to a bigger audience. And it's going to pay attention to which of those people it thought really liked it. And it's going to try and find more people like that. And then it's going to test it again. And so this is why the graph, when you look at the graph on the watch, it will often look like steps on a ladder. Now, the videos that perform extraordinarily well don't even look like that. They just look like they're shooting to the moon. The graph just keeps going straight up, right? Videos with 1 million views on them, those graphs look quite different. But if you get a video with a few thousand views on it, you're going to see that sometimes that graph looks almost like it's got little steps on it. And when it flatlines, when it just goes sideways, that means that it's pretty much done showing it to new people very often. Now, new people will discover it other ways. People will
ahead.
discover it through search.
For the same price,
people will
I'd take the
discover it
Cadillac.
because they watched one of your
That's my
videos, they clicked
opinion.
to watch another one.
A lot of this.
People will discover it because it got shared. And there's other ways people might discover it in the future. But in general, you want to keep that metric moving forward as long as possible. Right? Your goal in creating these videos should be to create videos that are so good, people watch them twice. That will trigger a massive algorithmic push. That's how you get people, 1 million people to see your video, is because people wanted to watch it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. When you can put it on a loop like that, that's incredible. In fact, when you do that, when you get a video that gets people on a loop, you'll actually get a notification inside of the YouTube studio telling you, when you do this on a YouTube video, if your video gets looped in YouTube, it'll actually tell you, hey, your video is getting looped, right? That's really, really good. On that video that I posted that's got like 4,000 views now, that video, it was getting looped. That's why I was getting 4 times as much visibility as the other videos. Now, 4,000 is still not that many in the grand scheme of things, right? But again, the algorithm is still learning about my channel. I'm still gaining subscribers, so it's a process. It's a process. We're still very early in the process. So you need to be posting every single day. The algorithm is going to reward consistency. Daily posting is going to flag you as an active creator, and it's going to prioritize your content and recommendations. And here's another thing to just think about. If you were to do that this year, let's say that in the year that's coming up here, you just decided, all right, I'm going to put out 365 videos. If you put out 365 videos during that time, how much better are you going to be at creating videos on video 300 than you were on video 1? How much do you think you would have learned if you're paying attention, right? If you're paying attention during the creation of your content and what was performing and what wasn't, and what hooks were working, and which videos seem to perform, which topics people seem to be interested in, if you're really truly paying attention, do you think you would be a little better at creating videos after video 50 than you were after video 1? So creating a video every single day is about you getting better at it. And you're also training the algorithm. It's going to push you to the right people. Now think about this. Let's say that it sends your video to 300 people and everybody swipes away. Nobody watches it. Well, that video is going to have no views on it, right? It's just literally just dead. The video is dead. Why is it dead? Because it sent it to 300 people who are not interested in it. Does that make sense? Can you guys see why that would kill it? Does it mean the video is terrible? Does it mean that video couldn't have been viral? Ask yourself that question. Does that mean that that video could not have been viral? No, not at all. That video, if it was shown to the right people, could have been a killer video. That could have been a video that got 200,000 views on it or 3 million views on it. The reason that it never could and it never had that chance is because the algorithm had no idea who to show it to. So if you put 10 videos on the channel and then expect that you're going to have achieved the ultimate, viral success, you're not giving the algorithm enough time to figure you out. Figure out your content, figure out who you're trying to show these to, who would be the right audience to show them to, right? So YouTube is really good. I think you guys should definitely be creating in YouTube. And I think that when we talk about affiliate and some other strategies later on, then TikTok and some other platforms make more sense. But you can use these videos in multiple platforms. So you could be testing this in multiple places, depending on how you want to optimize, how you want to really distribute this stuff. I mean, LinkedIn could be really good for some of you. LinkedIn might be a really amazing platform because the way you monetize it doesn't require the videos to be exceptionally viral like they might go on YouTube. Likewise, TikTok could be insanely important for some of you. So now, all that said, what is the formula to creating viral videos? This is not a myth. This is not something that people don't know. This is not a secret that someone has to sell you. This is something that's widely known. And it consists of three things. Number one is the hook. You have to stop people from scrolling. People are just flicking through this content, looking for something to watch. They're not going to watch everything. You're getting an instantaneous check as to whether or not what you're doing in your video is interesting. And really, the entire idea you're trying to express has to be explained in the hook. If a hook is really good, your whole video concept should basically be explained in that very first couple of statements. It's really 3 seconds or less, and it might even be less than 3 seconds that you have to grab their attention. Now, if you grab their attention correctly, you're going to evoke an emotion. They should actually feel something. And which emotion they feel is actually very important, because some emotions are going to make videos very, very unshareable. Some emotions are going to make some videos very, very unlikable. And some emotions are going to make people not want to watch more. And some emotions are going to make people want to share it with everybody. And so which one of those things is happening is going to really depend on which emotions you're evoking. Now, the next part after you create that hook is that's where you're building. And this is where you have to create enough value to keep them engaged. It needs to keep a pace that keeps someone watching. If your video's kind of slow and kind of boring, guess what? No one's going to stick through it. No one's going to give you 60 seconds of their life, right? No one's going to do it. So it's got to be interesting. It's got to keep someone engaged the entire time. It's got to build towards something. You may want to introduce additional hooks or additional pattern interrupts within that content in order to try and build towards the payoff, which is the final resolution of your hook. So your hook should be creating a curiosity gap that you never pay off until the payoff. Does that make sense? Your hook should open up a need to know something, or a need to understand something, or a desire to explore something that you don't give into until the payoff. You should be taking someone on a very interesting journey during the build between those two places. And then finally, the payoff is where it's all going to resolve. And if you're really good, it should resolve into another hook, which might even be your original hook to get them to watch it twice. So everything you're doing in Viral Vids when you're creating your videos you should be thinking about this framework. All right, this first couple frames here, this is my hook. Is this hook going to grab their attention? Is it visually stunning, or does it have elements that the hook is really going to grab them? During the build, is this getting boring? Is this keeping it interesting? Should I cut out parts or add parts to make them want to stay? And during the payoff, have I closed the loop and reopened another one? Now, what are those emotions that are going to stop people from scrolling? How do we get people to stop this behavior? How do we get them to actually pay attention to us? Right? And your hook really only has one job. And by the way, if you don't get this right, no one will watch your video. So you'll never get a viral video. Like, your video will just never go viral. It's not possible unless you have a good hook. So how do we do that? Well, there are 4 emotions. There's many other emotions, but there are 4 emotions that are very powerful that you can leverage. The first one, and maybe the best one, is awe, is mind-blowing curiosity. Right? Secret knowledge, or I never knew this moments that someone's going to want to lean into. And the reason this is so good is because when someone feels a sense of awe, like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, they want to share it. They want to give it to someone else. They want to react to it. They want to like it. They want to comment on it. They want to watch it again. Was that true? And they're going to watch it again. Right? So if you can evoke this this emotion in somebody, it becomes incredibly powerful. Now, the next one is a negative emotion, and that is anger. If you can evoke anger in somebody, that will get someone's attention. And that likewise will evoke all those same dynamics of getting someone to want to like it, for someone to want to share it, for people to want to engage with it. Right? So it's us versus them dynamics. It's revealing hidden truths that spark some kind of righteous indignation. Like, have you guys heard the term rage baiting? Why do you think rage baiting videos? Now, I don't suggest you make rage baiting content unless you're really into that, I guess. That's not something I would, I don't think that's a very sellable skill. But that said, you guys ever heard of that term? Rage baiting is when someone says something that they know will make someone mad. It's like trolling. Like, they're basically making content that they know is going to, blow your mind in a bad way, get you upset. And that will trigger them to really highly engage with the content. But anger doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? It could be that you're showing how someone or something has misled them or mistreated them, or some injustice in the world exists that's not fair. Now, anxiety, fear of loss, falling behind, is another negative emotion that's extremely powerful. Right? If you can trigger someone's pain points, someone's missed opportunities, then you are going to demand their immediate attention. That is a very powerful button to push in somebody. And another one that's fun and less dark is humor. Humor is a really great emotion because there's a reason that people really like funny videos of cats or videos of fails where people, fall down and hurt themselves. Surprise, absurdity, irony. I mean, you guys have seen the videos on the internet that are going viral of like, Yetis who are like snow skiing and doing crazy stuff. It's like, that's hitting on more than one. It's hitting on awe and humor, right? So of course that content goes viral. The you can't make this up moments have a huge shareability factor to them. Now, there's some templates that you can use for hooks. One of them is making counterintuitive statements. Everyone thinks blank, and it has to be a common belief. It's got to be something that everybody kind of knows is true, right? If you can tell someone, everyone thinks you should save for retirement, but the surprising reality is, well, yeah, you should save for retirement, right? That you're hitting on multiple emotions there, right? Does that make sense? Can you see how that would actually be triggering multiple emotions in someone? If everyone thinks common belief, everyone thinks more followers equals more money, but you can make $15,000 a month with only 2,000 followers. That's curiosity, right? Well, that would be interesting. If I'm a creator, I don't want to pay attention to that. Now, forbidden knowledge is another one, right? The CIA doesn't want you to know what they're doing in this island facility, right? Big marketing agencies don't want you to know you can do this for yourself in 2 hours. Another one's the expensive mistake. The way that your blank is costing you $7,000 every year, right? This hiring mistake cost me $47,000. Here's how to avoid it. Man, if I'm hiring people, I'm going to want to, that gets my curiosity, right? You got me. If I'm like an HR person or a CEO of a company or a small business owner, you've got my attention. Another one is the instant results promise. Do specific action for time frame, get specific result. Post 3 videos using this exact hook formula and watch your videos explode. So you've got to make a claim that's enough to get someone's attention and open a gap in their curiosity. Rule number 1, repeat the topic in the first 10 seconds. It's just like when you visit a website. If you go to a website and you land there, then the title of that website is not what you expect it to be. If you typed in used blue Nissan cars and you saw a website that said, you know, used blue Nissan for sale, and you clicked on it, and then you land on the page and it shows red Ford trucks and the title didn't say anything about used blue Nissans, then you would be like, oh, this is like, I'm on the wrong website. You just hit the back button, right? So the algorithm needs you to confirm your video matches what viewers are expecting. Viewers need to know they landed on the right thing. So you should be repeating your topic in the first 10 seconds. You should be explaining the concept of your video in that hook. Now, rule number 2 is you should try and use specific numbers. 30% more revenue beats way more revenue. $10,000 per month beats a lot of money. Specificity is credibility, and it's going to keep them watching. Vague claims are going to trigger skepticism in people, and viewers are just going to keep scrolling. Grow your business by 15% this quarter is okay, but you know how I added $437,000 in revenue to my roofing business this month is going to be way more interesting. That's just such a better way to say it. Rule number 3 is create a curiosity gap. And this, you can't really, now you don't have to use numbers in everything you do, but if you do use numbers, be specific. But rule number 1 and rule number 3 apply to every single video you create. Promise something specific in the hook, deliver it in the payoff, and the gap creates the tension that's going to force them to watch all the way through. Without resolution, the viewers feel like it's incomplete and they got to keep watching. But also, we kind of like that a little bit because we want to lead them into the original hook again. So now how are we going to accomplish this, right? The watch time determines everything. The longer someone watches, the more points you're earning, and your goal is to get them all to watch all the way through and then loop back to the start and watch it again. And then every 5 or 7 seconds, we should be doing a pattern interrupt. That's why videos about a number of different interesting perspectives are far better than one slow story. You want to use visual pattern interrupts, right? Changing the style of the scene, changing things that really get people's attention. Looking at your video and saying, all right, is this video going to visually keep them interested? You'll notice that we do this inside of viral vids every few seconds. About every 5 to 7 seconds, we change the frame. We go to another frame. It's an entirely different visual. Like this is baked in, guys. This is baked in, right? And then you want to paste the pattern interrupts, right? One idea per sentence. Quick transitions between points, no fluff, no filler words. Like your video should be direct and to the point, but also should be walking them through a really interesting journey. And you can think about it this way. When you look at your script, you should be looking at it from the perspective of, does my first line of my script, my first frame, make them want to watch the next frame? Does the next frame make them want to watch the next frame all the way through? That's a very basic rule in copywriting that carries into what it is that we're doing here. So your script should really be built to keep them interested and keep it moving, right? Keep it moving, keep it going, keep it coming. Now, there's 3 points to building that structure. Number one is you can state a problem. Most businesses wonder why their content isn't going anywhere. It's not doing anything, right? Then point two, you're going to add a wait. What moment that makes them lean in? So most businesses post content randomly and wonder why nothing happens. But the businesses getting 100+ leads a month are all doing this one thing differently. And point three is explaining the mechanism. They're engineering their hooks using these 4 emotional triggers I'm about to show you. And then we're transitioning to the payoff. So here's exactly what you do. Right? So this structure is a very, very good way to build a good hook. And you'll see this structure in, like, go watch an endless number of the best YouTube creators out there or the best TikTok creators out there are using this kind of structure all the time. In fact, I would be surprised if, I don't know if you guys watch that kind of content, but if you do, you've probably seen this, right? You've probably seen this. Because this is a structure that's very, very effective. Now, how do you make your video seamlessly loop? Keep the total length of the video 30 to 60 seconds. Make every single second count with dense content and no wasted time. And edit your final sentence to flow directly into your opening hook. Right? The perfect loop is like this. Your first 3 seconds determine everything. Then you're building, that's 4 seconds to 50 seconds in. Explain why and how, the specific examples, the data, you're really unpacking it for them. And then at the payoff, it's like, and that's why these first 3 seconds matter so much. So a video that gets rewatched is treated as high value content inventory by algorithm. It's going to get pushed way, way harder to new audiences. It has way more potential. It has way more potential. So, and the payoff, we need to deliver value, but we also need to drive action. The payoff has to resolve the tension we created in our hook. It's like when we call it opening, when we call the hook, one of the things we call hooks, by the way, in copywriting is we call them loops. Open a loop. Did you know that blank, we create curiosity, but then we don't immediately resolve it. We don't immediately tell you the answer. We make you start thinking about a question, but we don't give you the answer until later. At the end, we're giving them that answer, right? We have to basically pay off at the end, right? We have to resolve the question. We have to end that question in their mind at some point. So we answer it. What we don't want to do is answer it too early. Like, we don't want to answer the question we're raising in the middle of the content. We got to keep it going. Right? We got to keep it building, keep it moving. So a bad example of a payoff is like, this secret color trick controls buying behavior.
No.
And the payoff is, so make sure your branding stays consistent. That's not a good payoff.
Come on. Oh, no.
This secret color trick controls buying behavior. It's red and yellow together. They trigger hunger and urgency. That's why McDonald's, KFC, and In-N-Out all use them. Right? We're giving them exactly what we promised in the payoff. So if we build the payoff correctly, we're actually going to deliver the value that we promised them in the beginning. And then we can add our call to action to this, because keep in mind, we don't necessarily just want to drive people to watch our video. We might want to take them somewhere else. We might want to have them take us up on an offer that we're selling right now. We might want to have them join our mailing list. We might want them to download something in the description. We might want them to go to our website. We might want them to subscribe to the channel. Whatever it is, like, there are other things we might want to get them to do. We might want to prompt them to add a comment. All of those are good things.
I'm not guilty. Oh. He is.
So here are a few CTAs you can use if you're trying to drive business, right? Because you can ask for likes and subscribes, but those are not going to move your business needs forward. And if you're building this for business, eventually that's what a lot of you are going to be doing, whether you're building your channel for that, if yours is just a portfolio for now, or you have other things you want to do with it in order to monetize it later, at some point you're going to need to build content that is actively calling people to action for yourself or for your clients. So for lead generation, comment in Blueprint. I'll send you a free template, right? Comment audit for the free breakdown, right? That's a brilliant one because there's 2 comments, right? For authority building, we can do a full breakdown for 10 more examples in my bio, or link in the bio for the complete guide, right? For my channel about weird history moments, I think what I might do with that channel is I might build like a coloring book and sell it or something like that, right? Maybe I'll make a really weird history moments coloring book and actually pitch that at the very end of the videos and have the link to it in the, and not in every video, but in some of the videos. Does that make sense? That would be an interesting kind of a way to monetize the channel, selling a coloring book, right? It might be like outside of the box, which you've never thought of, but hey, if that channel is getting tens of thousands of views, then there's tens of thousands of opportunities to sell a coloring book. I don't have to sell that many coloring books to make the channel make a lot of sense. Likewise, you can build mailing lists, you can build leads, you can build all kinds of stuff. Now, for direct client acquisition, I'm taking 5 free audits this week, a link in the bio to apply. Or I only take on 2 new clients every month, but you can apply in my bio, right? You're creating urgency and scarcity while filtering out people who are not serious. So let's talk about some niches. Now, we talked about niches before. We talked about kind of this in a broad and a general sense. But let's talk about some niches that are really good for business, because I know a lot of people who are watching this, they're thinking to themselves, well, I want to sell websites, or I want to sell these videos, or I want to sell SEO, or I want to sell blogging, or I want to sell reputation management. You might be thinking of other stuff you want to sell. And so there are some niches that you could get into that could be really good for those kinds of projects. And I want to get a little bit more specific on some niche ideas with you. So I've got a few different ones I want to talk through. And what I want you to notice about these is when we create content for these channels specifically, we can get really, really specific in a way that allows us to niche in and get way more traction, probably much faster. So the first one, and I think this will make sense as I go along here. The first one is neuromarketing and psychology, right? So hidden psychology behind successful brands, for example. Now, a quick example of this is the #1 psychological trick that made Nike a billion-dollar brand. Now, if you're marketing your company, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody out there who's trying to grow a business, that's an interesting video, right? That's going to appeal to your audience. Some content ideas for something like that might be, breaking down the marketing tactics of famous brands. This is a meta kind of approach. If you're going to sell marketing, why not talk about marketing? But we can do it within the context of what other brands are doing, or what other companies have done. And you can adjust this any way you want. You could adjust this down into the niche. Like you could make this about, how the roofing is, like you could boil this into the roofing industry and only target roofers. Now, you're never going to create a ton of viral content that way, but it might be worth it to create content that is at least viral within the scope of the size of the audience to get to the customer, right? So there's 2 kinds of channels we can build. We can build a channel that we're just trying to get a lot of views and subscribers and all that to build our portfolio, but we can also build one that's way more laser targeted in our audience, and we're really trying to turn it into a funnel. If we think about that one as being a funnel for clients for our business, we can build it in a different way. And we don't have to get that same kind of crazy level of visibility to attract exactly the right kinds of people. But we could explain persuasion principles and real world action. We can deconstruct viral campaigns to show how they work. We could reveal color psychology and logos and advertising. We could talk about tactics for videos. We could talk about how to make great viral video content. There's all kinds of things you could do within that. You can unpack SEO, you can unpack. Now, the difficulty of this is some of these things are tough to visualize, but the cool thing about AI is that you can visualize all of this with really interesting, visuals in viral vids. Like if you use like the cinematic mode or the cartoon mode or the sci-fi mode, you can visualize some of this stuff in really amazing ways and unpack these things. And this will be very interesting because this is going to attract marketing agencies, consultants, ambitious business owners, marketing managers at businesses, people who are interested in this kind of stuff that you're doing, right? Now, the emotional trigger to this is like you're knowing something that competitors don't know in terms of that hook example, but you can tap into any problem you want to solve for them, any interesting thing that you want to dive into, and just having some conversations with AI could unpack a lot of this for you, right? You could come up with a lot of ideas in the neuromarketing and psychology realm. There's 1,000 channel ideas within this. They don't have to be all about talking about marketing either. They could talk about, marketing, selling, business management. They could talk about, leadership. They could talk about there's a ton of topics within this kind of neuromarketing and psychology that are all kind of alongside and match up with it. The suggestion though is get really specific in the niche if you go after it. Another one is business autopsy, right? Why giants fall and what you can learn from their mistakes. Now, this is really interesting because you're talking about epic failures, right? This is going to appeal to the people for the same reason that someone likes watching fail videos of people who are snowboarding, or does that make sense? But this is like fails on an epic scale, right? Kodak invented the digital camera in 1975 and then they killed it. Then they killed it, right? This is why they went bankrupt. So we have a company that literally invents a digital camera and then gets steamrolled by digital photography later. That's pretty interesting, right? That would be interesting. There's tons of company failures out there, Blockbuster, Toys R Us, Sears, but it's got to be relatable. So another thing I want to really talk to you guys about is that if you create content that's not generic, or that is generic rather, if you just talk about the general reasons that businesses fail, that's not interesting. You're not going to grab anyone's attention. That content is a snooze fest. People are going to snore right past that stuff. You've got to get specific to make it relatable to them, right? When you start talking about actual historical figures, actual famous people, actual brands, you start talking about the realm of things that they've heard about in the news, right? That all of a sudden now, it's much more interesting. And the cool thing about this is you're talking about pop culture and current events in the past. So it's still evergreen, right? The failure of Blockbuster is going to be interesting to people in 5 years, just like it's interesting today, and it'll be interesting in 10 years, just like it's interesting today. Right? Toys R Us, like all of this, the fall of the modern mini mall, right? That's interesting to anyone who remembers mini malls. So if you can think about nostalgia and keep who your target market is in mind, think about who they are, what's their age, what nostalgic things are they interested in, all of a sudden you might have some really interesting topics that you can talk about. Right? And you're playing on emotions because you have kind of fear, you have a little bit of awe there, you have, if you play it right, and you could be talking about like the strategic errors and mistakes that people make. So entrepreneurs, business strategists, decision makers who want to understand the competitive dynamics and strategic positioning of building businesses are going to be attracted to this kind of content. And another one is AI and productivity hacks. Now this one's saturated, but it's also exploding, right? So like, here's another way you can have kind of a meta approach. Now here's a mistake you're going to make that I want to help you sidestep. If you do this, don't talk about, don't make it a sales pitch for yourself. None of this is a sales pitch for yourself. The content has to be captivating. It has to create a curiosity gap. It has to have a payoff, and it has to be interesting, even if you don't exist, right? The answer to all your videos can't be hire me. The payoff can't be just hire us. Just we'll help you. That can't be the payoff. That's in the context of this viral video content, those aren't payoffs. Those are calls to action, but they're not payoffs. Does that make sense? So for everyone's watching this live, give me some feedback. Give me some 10s if this is all connecting, if this is all making sense. And are you seeing how this kind of all comes together and how you could build something that's actually valuable? Give me some, where are you at? Give me a 10 if this is all, I'm connecting all the dots for you. Give me a 1 if you're just kind of lost. Give me 10 if this is all making sense. Give me 1 if you're just kind of lost, or if you're just not sure if this is making sense. Awesome. Okay. Now, so those are some ideas for some very specific, niches that you could help. Another thing you have to think about in your role, especially if you're like a marketer, right? If you guys are a marketer, I want you to think about this. What's the role you're going to serve in the future? Okay, we all know AI is here. I mean, we're using AI to create these wild videos, but your role, and this is how I see it, and you might see it differently, but this is how I think about it. In 10 years, my role is not necessarily going to be the same as it is today. It certainly shouldn't be. And with the invention of AI, one of the things that I'm doing now in my role in the world is to help business owners understand how to take advantage of all this AI and technology, because AI and automation is highly technical, but we need to make it accessible for non-techies. So if you can do that, right, then that's really, really valuable. This is a little more difficult. This is a difficult niche, in my opinion, to tackle. This is a difficult niche, but it's another idea that would be really, really targeted at the right people, potentially. So here's some things you can think about. Here's some questions you can ask yourself about your niche before you settle on one, before you're like in love with it and you're sold on it and you're trying to figure out niche selection. A few things you can think about. Number 1, does this demonstrate my expertise to my dream clients? If you're trying to land HVAC companies and that's just your goal, could your content show you understand their specific challenges and the opportunities to them, right? Number 2, can I create 365 plus videos in this niche? Can you make a new idea every single day? Now, AI is going to help with that, by the way, right? But if it's only going to have like 30 videos in it, it's not really good for what we're trying to accomplish. Number 3 is, does your channel idea trigger a high arousal emotion? Right? We talked about 4 of those. Does your idea, is it going to trigger that? Boring topics are not going to get shared. Emotional content gets shared. Now let's talk about some emotions that are not good, that some of you might try and think to tap into. Sadness, not a good emotion for viral content. If somebody becomes sad, they're not going to want to share. And another one I'm actually contemplating around this channel I've started building, that I might ditch it and build a different one, because I'm thinking about contemplativeness. If somebody becomes contemplative and introspective, it's not good for sharing, right? So I'm giving people, the stoic content I'm working on, I'm starting to wonder if I'm making a mistake there. And I'm kind of really early in, but still, it's a thing to think about, right? And number 4, are dream clients actively searching for this, right? YouTube is a search engine. It ranks for what people are typing into. That's going to get it visibility, right? So think about what questions you can actually answer for people. Now, that doesn't mean you can just be an FAQ channel just full of FAQs. That's boring, guys. That's boring. But if your content actually fills a real need, answers real questions people have, hits real pain points people experience, then and people actually search for it, that's far more powerful. That's far more powerful in your ideas about your niche. So here's some things to be keeping in consideration. If you're going to take this on, you're going to build viral content, you now need to think like a viral creator. What does that mean? It means when you're using these platforms, you need to be looking at them like a creator looks at them. Like watch the video and say, what was their hook? What's their payoff? What's the buildup in their video look like? How are they using pattern interrupts? Right? Deconstruct the videos. Go find some heroes. Go find some videos out there that you're like, man, this is the channel I want to be like. This channel is doing it right. What are they doing right? Right? What are they doing right? Now use that to build a swipe file. When you find a video that's just exceptional, you're like, this is exactly the kind of content I want to create. Make a document, put that video in there, right? Deconstruct what happened. Explain in your notes what you liked about it so much, what was so good about it, so you can come back to it later. If you've got a swipe file and you've got like 50 videos in there that have great hooks, you're going to have an amazing list of hooks that you're never starting from scratch, right? You just have it. And then the other thing is script using your 3-part formula, right? For your channel. Like Viral Vids has a script editor in it that's good, and you can use that as a starting point, and you can use that to create content. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're creating a channel for you over the long run, it's not a bad idea to open up, an AI tool and put some context from some channels you like. Put some thoughts, put some branding, some brand voice concepts in there for your channel, and start building scripts out of that, because you can paste scripts right in, right? And that's okay. That's not, there's nothing wrong with that. That extra step is up to you, but there's nothing wrong with that. Now, number 3, enter your completed script, choose the style that matches your niche, keep with that style. Don't be creating a channel that's got like sci-fi in one video and fantasy in another one, and don't be switching it all up. Use the same kind of music every time. Use the same kind of visual style every time. Use the same look and feel. Like your videos should feel like they're part of a collection. They shouldn't feel like they're one-offs when you're creating them, right? So review and optimize your video rights. Give it that extra little bit of attention before you post it, and make sure that you really are happy with it. But you can create all of these in batches, right? On every Monday, create 3 videos. Every Wednesday, create 3 videos. Do one on Friday. Now you've got 7 days of content and 3 short working sessions. Or do it all every Saturday afternoon, whatever you want, right? You can do the whole week's work. But batch this process and create the content in advance, and so that you're not having to try and do this every single day. That's kind of a waste of your time. So what makes this system work is that you're not just another marketer making promises, right? When you talk to a dentist and say, I create viral videos for dental practices, here's my channel views on dental marketing content, that's pretty powerful. But likewise, you could say, I reach out to dentists. I do a lot of work with dentists, and in fact, I make a lot of viral video content for kids and for mothers for mothers with small children. And I find that a lot of my content applies really well for dentists. And here's a couple dental videos I did, right? So you don't have to make your channel about the niche necessarily, but showing that you have viral content and then showing them an example of what you want to build for them is very, very powerful. So 30 days, 30 videos, proof of concept, right? 90 days is an undeniable portfolio, and a year's worth of content, that's crazy. That's crazy. So what I encourage you to do is really get out there and try this and work on building a bunch of videos. And in our next session, we're going to be doing that. in the sense that we're going to be diving in and applying all of these things. We're going to do a think out loud session where we actually think through every part of this. What's our hook? Is our hook really meeting our standard here? What are we doing in the build up here? We're gonna actually do this in practice. We're gonna spend an hour on one video making it exceptional. And then when we're done, hopefully you'll have an idea about, it doesn't have to take an hour to make a video, by the way, but we're gonna really kind of belabor the point to dive into all these pieces of this puzzle. And then we're gonna talk about more ways that you can also monetize them. Now, the thing I want to say is that through this experience of building these channels I'm working on, I was having a conversation with another one of my friends who is who's in tech, who travels like I do. A lot of you know I travel all over the world, and another friend of mine does that. He's currently in Vietnam, I think. But anyways, we're getting ready to meet up in Peru, and so we're talking and. He does some YouTube content, and he started showing me his shorts channel, and he's got videos that are doing over 1 million views. And so I had the chance to pick his brain quite a bit about what he's doing to do that. And so I think it might be interesting also, maybe next time we get together, we can analyze his channel and some of the content that he's done. And now that we understand this framework, we can do that with the perspective of understanding what is making this channel successful. Would that be interesting? Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Does that sound good? 100%? Sounds great. Okay. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll analyze how and why it, and I think you're going to be able to see the framework that we're talking about here really plays into this very, very well. Now, so my next question with you is, who here is going to build a viral channel? I know some of you have already started channels. It's fantastic. I've been watching some videos. Very cool. Excited to see you guys jumping in. But in your own words, can you guys give me 2 sentences about the opportunity of building a viral channel like this? What do you think about this? Can you see the opportunity in this? So give me 2 sentences as to why you think building a viral channel makes so much sense. And if you don't think it makes sense, give me 2 sentences as to why, because I want the honest feedback. So in the chat, if you would, you don't have to share this with the world, but in the chat, if you would, give me a couple of sentences about why building a viral channel makes a million percent sense, or why it doesn't. Now I want to get your take. But don't give me 2 words. Give me a complete thought. Give me a complete thought. I'm curious. So by viral channel, Clint, I mean a channel leveraging shorts on YouTube or on TikTok or Instagram, where you're leveraging shorts to build a channel out, right? To build a profile on those platforms that has a collection of videos like we just talked about. Does that make sense? You guys have some very interesting answers. Very interesting answers. So I appreciate you giving me your feedback. Very helpful. Now, here's my challenge to you. Now, I know a ton of you have yet to build out a channel or start a channel or put a video out there. Now, some of you certainly have, and we're going to, I already promised to give you guys 300 credits for that. But here's my next challenge, because we're a weekend now. And my next challenge is that I'll give you another 300 credits to anybody who makes a video every single day. They don't have to make them all at once. You could just schedule them out. But everyone who makes a video every single day for the next week before our next session. If you make 7 videos, then I will give you another 300 credits. I just want to give you a very small incentive. A very small incentive. Now, how do you do that? So make your videos, and you don't have to post them all at once, but after you are done I'm assuming you're gonna do this in 1 or 2 sessions, right? After you're done scheduling out your 7 videos, then I want you to put a Facebook post with a screenshot of the videos that you've created. It could be inside of Viral Vids, they could be inside of YouTube, wherever, you know, in Instagram, whatever. But give me a screenshot of the collection of videos and a statement that says something along the lines of, hey, I just created my first week of content for my Faceless video channel. And I used Viral Vids and it was super easy. Something really simple like that. Don't give me 6 paragraphs. Give me like 3 or 4 sentences. Something positive about Viral Vids that encourages other people who are on the sidelines that are not doing it to jump into. Let's peer pressure each other into making it. And then last week's bonus assignment was to set up your channel and create your first video and share it in the group. Now, one more metric I want you guys to think about. There's one more metric. Yeah, if you need more credits, you can actually get it inside of Viral Vids. If you go to your usage panel, you'll see there's a button there you can click to go get more credits if you need them. Now, there's one more metric I want you to think about. The first 90 minutes your video's live are really important. The first 90 minutes are when it has a lot more chance to get traction. So if you can get other people to watch your video during the first 90 minutes and like it and comment on it and watch it, then it has a lot more potential to get traction. So if you post a video and you go share that inside of the Facebook group and say, I just crafted this video inside of Viral Vids, check it out, you know, I'm loving this, whatever, something simple like that. Put a link to the video. If you guys will go watch each other's videos as people are posting them in the Facebook group, then they'll get more traction because you're giving them more watches, more likes, more comments. You're building them. We talked about the 50. You need 50. You need a score of 50. Well, how do you get to the score of 50? Well, one of the ways you get to a score of 50 is by sharing it and getting other people to watch it when you're first getting started, right? As the channel's just barely getting started. So that's a strategy. So just another tip, you're putting a video out there, go post it, even go put it up manually even, so you can control when it goes out exactly and go share it right then. Then you might have more chance of getting a little more traction on it. There'll definitely be a replay of today. We'll have the replay of the last session out as well. It should be in the members area, but I'll make sure that it gets emailed to everybody as well. And we will definitely get that out to you guys. We'll be back again for another session like this next week. It's been a lot of fun. I hope that you guys got something out of it. If you guys did get something out of the course so far, if you feel like you've learned something new, if you feel like some of the tips have been useful, please, it always helps if you go into Facebook and let the rest of the world know it. It always helps us. And I will work on getting a copy of the slide deck from today. I know there's a lot of gold in this slide deck potentially. I will get a copy of the slide deck out for you guys with the replay. Happy to do that. And thanks so much, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And if I don't see you before the weekend, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks so much.